everybody, welcome to my channel. I'm Dr. Angel Storm. I'm the founder of Ashes to Beauty Ministries, and today I'm going to be talking to you about canned responses to the narcissist. I talk about all the time where essentially a narcissist is simply an energy vampire. So they are looking for a way to get energy from other people because this is what keeps them going. They don't have an ego that is healthy, so they can't create their own self-esteem, they can't create their own self-worth. And so they get this by sucking it from other people, either people willingly praising them, willingly giving them accolades, or they take it from other people by making them go crazy, and the narcissist realizes that they're in control of that situation and they feed off of the energy that they get. So when we talk about canned responses, it's basically shutting down that energy cycle so that the narcissist is not able to drain you of your energy, nor are they able to use you as a supply to get their energy source. This is especially important to know about if you are going through a divorce with a narcissist, if you have to co-parent with a narcissist, if there's a reason that you have to be in communication with a narcissist. This can apply to work situations as well, or maybe you have a family member who's a narcissist and you don't see them all the time, but you have to communicate with them sometimes. Canned responses are a way to preserve your own energy and, again, to prevent the narcissist from using you as a supply as well. One of the things that I learned that is the most important part of how to handle a narcissist is that you cannot give up your peace to the narcissist. So whatever it is that the narcissist is doing, that they are trying to make you get very upset about, get emotionally involved in, waste your time, waste your energy on, you just need to say no to those things. And I definitely understand firsthand how difficult this can be, especially if you're in a time crunch or if you're under the court's supervision or things like that, but still you need to be the one to put up boundaries and to say no to certain things that the narcissist is doing. So I finally got to a place where I just said, like, I'm not giving away my peace. I'm keeping my peace, and if I don't have peace about it, I'm just not responding in that moment. I'm a life coach as well, and I talk a lot about with my clients about how you need to make predetermined choices, and this applies to so many areas in life. This isn't just about with the narcissist, it's about, you know, how you're going to pursue your career, about your education, whatever goals that you're after, the way that you raise your children, etc. You need to make predetermined choices so that your life isn't constantly trying to catch up. You know, I need to make a decision about this, and now this, and now this, where you just feel like you're behind the ball. And if you make a predetermined decision ahead of time, first of all, it eliminates a lot of the internal turmoil that can come along with making a decision. How do I respond to this? Should I do it? Should I not do it? What do I say? How do I say it? When you have a predetermined decision, it cuts down on that internal noise. It makes the decision a lot simpler to not only make for yourself, but communicate to other people as well. Predetermined choices also shape your values. It shapes your character. This has a lot to do with the foundational level of how you do life. So what you value can over time get off little by little by little until finally you're just like, I don't know how I got over here. I don't even actually value this thing. But somehow that is the foundation, the premise of your life, and you're walking out something that you don't actually believe in. Predetermined decisions are kind of like the guardrails for your path in life, and to make sure that you are living true to who you are always in the center of the purpose that you're here for, and you're walking out your life to the best of your ability. Predetermined choices will help guide you and guard you and help you to do that. I think it's really important to have this knowledge of how to respond to a narcissist, regardless of what stage you are in processing your healing. So canned responses are basically like, I've predetermined in my mind that I'm going to respond this certain way when the narcissist says these things. You know the narcissist that you are dealing with, so you know their patterns of behavior, you know typical things that they will say, you know their manipulative tactics that they will use, so you know what to expect from the narcissist. but not everybody around you may. And so you need to be the one to form your own canned responses. If you haven't heard of her already, Tina Swithin is a fantastic resource for this. She has an organization called One Mom's Battle, OMB, and I highly recommend you look her up, you follow her, join her Facebook group, all of that if you don't already. She has actually a whole sheet of canned responses that you can get, so you can kind of tailor those to what you want to do. I'm putting the link to that in the description of this video. So let me quickly give you an example of a canned response. If you know that the narcissist will always contact you around, let's say, 8 p.m., 9 p.m., and want to see the kids, come over to do X, Y, and Z, see if it's okay if he takes care of that thing that you asked him about, you know, a month ago. If there's a specific time period that he's going to just pop up in your life, make sure that you have a response for that. Something like, "I'm sorry, that won't work for me," is a perfect response. You don't need to go into all of the details. It's too late, the kids are in bed, I'm tired, I don't feel like it, it's not convenient for me. You don't need to go into all of those details. Just simply state, "I'm sorry, that's not going to work for me," and leave it at that. That boundary is a firm set boundary, and if he continues to come back, you can add something onto that, like, "I'm sorry, that's not going to work for me. Let's try discussing during typical business hours," or whatever would work for you in your situation. So having a response that's firm, yet it's not attacking, you're not making excuses to defend your position. You don't need to do that. You get to set the terms, the boundaries, the conditions for your life, who interacts with you and how they interact with you. You're in control of that. And so you can set up these boundaries and just be very firm about them. You don't need to go on the offensive or on the defensive and try to explain away everything that's going to come into the narcissist's mind, or try to anticipate what he's going to say in response to you. You don't need to do that. You need to respond to what's being presented to you right now. And on canned responses, I also want to say sometimes no response is just fine. If this is a complete waste of your time to respond to the nonsense emails, text messages, the over bombardment of communication that the narcissist will do, especially after you've gone no contact or you've tried to separate or you've set up hard boundaries for them, they will bombard you with communication, and it's okay to not respond to that. That can be a response. Before I move on any further with the canned responses, I want to quickly discuss responding and reacting. When I react to something, somebody does something to me, somebody says something to me that I don't like, and I react off of my emotion. "I don't like that you said that. It's not true. That's not what happened. If you hadn't done that, then I wouldn't have done this." That's a reaction. And that comes from a place of not being firmly rooted in who you are. It comes from a place of having your identity challenged, that you actually aren't okay with yourself. You haven't actually processed that information or that part of who you are to the fullest degree. Because once everything's settled, it doesn't matter what somebody else says to you. Like, you're just going to know the truth, and like everything else can just keep it moving. You know, you don't need to sit down and respond to everything that comes your way. When you respond, you are taking the information that's being given to you. You've processed it from both your point of view and the other person's point of view, and you give an answer that is fitting for the situation. So perhaps what the person has said to you, and I'm just talking in generalities, I'm not speaking about specifically with narcissists at this time, perhaps it's thing that the person had said to you did hurt you. Maybe it wounded something inside of you. It made you feel sad. It made you feel bad. And maybe in your quiet time, you need to process that. Do I really behave that way? Is this how I'm making people feel who are around me? You know, and you want to do some internal work to work on that issue. And that's absolutely fine. That's part of growth. That's part of being a human. We are going to learn from our interactions with others. But we don't need to react from that first place, that like the first way that it hits us. So you'll see people who cannot handle stress just react to all types of things. It's always shouting, it's always angry, and this is because they just haven't processed, again, all of that stuff that's been coming to them. They never have sat down and taken the time to be alone and think through each of those issues so that they can actually respond in such a way that it makes a difference. A reaction is going to cause another reaction, where a response can shut down a reaction that was brought to you. So typically, going back to the narcissist now, when they are communicating to you, it's always to either paint you in a bad light. They want other people to view you as the villain, or they want to have control over you. So they want to continue to manipulate you, even if you have no contact, or even if you're living in separate houses, or even if, you know, you've put all of this distance between you. They know that there's no distance in the spirit. And I have a whole bunch of videos talking about how narcissism is first a spirit. So you will always see them going through this soul realm, through manipulation, through your emotions. They know that they can still control you through your emotional responses, which is why it is so important to learn how to respond and not react. I will speak when I know my words are going to be effective. I'm not going to give my energy away. I'm not just going to say whatever I want and like explode on the narcissist because that's what he deserves or that's how he's making me feel. That isn't serving me. That isn't building up my life. That isn't making me into a person that I want to be. So I'm going to choose to wait and use my words when I have a response that I know will either shut down this conversation or it will direct it onto a healthy path. And I'm not going to engage in behavior that's not doing those two things. If it's taking me somewhere else, I'm not going to do it. Narcissists are great at illusion, and I have a video that talks about why chaos always follows narcissists, and they are fantastic about making something happen over here and then something else happen over here, and somehow like they're not really related to either one of these things. It's like that just happened or that just happened, but in reality they're controlling all of those situations, right? And so when you're going through a divorce, or if you're going through a custody situation, or maybe you have to co-parent with a narcissist, there are always going to be fires. Oh, this happened and then this happened and you didn't do that, so I did this, and it's because you didn't do that that I had to do this. You need to know how to respond to those kinds of things. And again, this is why canned responses are so important. So let's just take that example that I just gave as an illustration for what I want to say with a canned response. This happened, you didn't do that, this didn't happen because of you, so I had to do this. You can simply respond, your attempt to paint me in a bad light is duly noted. Or, that's not what happened, now let's talk about the children. Or, thanks for listing your concerns. Or, that didn't happen because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but you need to list facts and not your emotional. If you're going to respond with like, nope, this is actually what happened, you need to have facts and not emotions. So you need to say like, actually, this is what you said instead. See text message A or see email B. And this is actually what the teacher said in the note home from school or whatever. And make sure that you can, when possible, back that up with evidence, especially if there are eyes on you. Like if you're in a court situation, you're dealing with maybe guardian ad litem or parenting counselors or any kind of thing like that. You want to make sure that you can, as much as possible, provide evidence to support your side so that eventually everybody can see that the narcissist is just continuously playing these games. I want to also just give you a fair warning. They may very well believe the narcissist, especially in the beginning. But the longer that it goes on and the longer that you can continue to hold your ground while not emotionally reacting to what he says, what he is doing is actually going to be shown in plain light. This is why understanding reacting versus responding is going to be so important, because you don't want to give him the same ammunition that he's giving you. So allow him to speak, allow him to do whatever he wants to do. You cannot control what he does. What you can control is the way that you respond and what type of energy and time you put into that response. You don't need to give all of your energy and your emotion into a reaction so that you feel drained afterwards and you have, you feel bad because, oh, I should have said this, I shouldn't have done that, and now a million thoughts. You see how we've created an issue out of something that was a non-issue. You know that the narcissist is going to be saying these things about you or to you, and he wants you to respond that way. He wants to get you so riled up that you just forget all of the hard work that you've done about learning boundaries, about learning how to handle narcissists and things like that. He wants you to know that he still has control over you. And so to avoid all of that, get yourself some canned responses and make some predetermined choices about how you are going to respond to the narcissist. For me personally, I like to type up whatever I want to say, and then if I have the time and if it's not an emergency, I'm going to wait on when I send it. I'm going to give it a night if possible. I want to literally sleep on it before I send it, because I want to make sure that I've either addressed everything that's important to address, or B, I take out anything that may have gotten in there that was just too emotionally involved, for that conversation. I want to make sure that I remove the emotion, that I just state the facts, and that the use of my time and words is appropriate for the level of conversation that we are having. And so I hope that this video has helped you. The link for canned responses from Tina Swinton are in the description of this video if you want to check that out. If you are wondering, do you have a video on this or a video on this, just come out with the NARC handbook, which you can get right here. And it will take you through every single video, blog, every resource, every course, every product that I offer. And you can get that for only $10. It includes 13 videos that I had to remove from YouTube because they were considered controversial. And if you want to find out anything else about me, about what I do, you can check out all of the links in the description of this video. That'll take you to where you need to go. And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to my channel and turn on the bell so that you're notified whenever I upload a new video.